Welcome back. This right here is this right here. If you can see him. This right here is that's Dr. James C. Fletcher. Fletcher. He's administrator of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. Dr. Fletcher's appointment as administrator was announced by President Richard M. Nixon February 27, 1971. His appointment was confirmed by the U.S. Senate March 11, 1971, and he was sworn as administrator April the 27, 1971. And that's him right there. And this here is Dr. DeBus. That's how you say it, Dr. DeBus. And he's Dr. Kurt H. DeBus. I hope I'm saying that right. Director, John F. Kennedy Space Center, NASA. Dr. DeBus received degrees from Blank University in mechanical and electrical engineering. He won his engineering doctorate in 1939 with a thesis on surge voltage and was appointed assistant professor at the university. During this period, he became actively engaged in rocket research at Blank and has remained in his field since. In recognition of his unique technical accomplishments, Dr. DeBus received the U.S. Army's highest civilian decoration, the Scott Medal of the American Ordnance Association, and NASA's Outstanding Leadership Award. The Internal National Committee on Aerospace Activities presented its first Pioneer of Win-Rose Award, Order of the Diamond, in July of 1965. He received honorary doctorate degrees from Rollins College in 1967 and Florida Technical University in 1969. He received the Daughters of the American Revolution American War and was elected to the National Space Hall of Fame in 1969. He received an honorary Doctor of Science degree from Florida Institute of Technology in 1970. He was awarded the Commander's Cross of the Order of Merit of the Federal Republic of Germany and the Hermann Oberkaswell-Schaff honor ring in 1971. And again, I apologize if I'm saying it wrong, but there it is. Say it for yourself. I never heard him talk. Okay, and then this is Kennedy Space Center story, okay? There's that's Dale D. Myers, an associate administrator, manned spaceflight. I see him a lot. I just didn't know who he was, but you see him a lot in the pictures with him because he's got that, unless there's another one that's got a patch. And then you got William C. Schneider. He's a Skylab program director at the time. I don't know if you can see that. And then there's Dr. Christopher C. Kraft, Jr., director of the Manned Spacecraft Center. And then Dr. Rocco A. Petrone, director, Marshall Space Flight Center. And again, please forgive me about the names if I don't have it right. Okay. This is John F. Kennedy had been president of the United States for 16 days when three men met in a small office on Cape Kennedy to discuss new concepts for launching heavy space vehicles. They were Dr. Kurt H. DeBus, Theodore A. Popo, and George von Tysenhausen. Each had spent 25 years in rocketry. Dr. DeBus asked his colleagues to study the new launch site for rockets capable of generating 22 to 44 million neutrons. That's 5 million to 10 million pounds of thrust. No such rocket existed. The most powerful U.S. rocket then available produced 4.5 million neutrons, which was 1 million pounds of thrust. 3 years earlier, the team launched America's first satellite with a rocket that developed 387,000 neutrons. That's 87,000 pounds of thrust. At the time of their meeting, they were preparing to launch the first U.S. astronauts aboard small Redstone rockets and later the Atlas vehicle of 1.7 million neutrons, which was be 388,000 pounds of thrust. And I told you, I said that like the Gemini is actually the that's Mercury, and then the Gemini. We had the Saturn. That Saturn V. We'll read some more on it. I gotta get better knowledge than that. I'm losing so much memory. And Dr. DeBus enlarged the planning group March the 27th, 1961, adding Dr. Hans F. Gruson and Albert Zeller, associates of many years, Rocco A. Petrone, as Raymond L. Clark, and others. He appointed Zeller as the chairman of a study committee to evaluate new concepts, including the advantages and disadvantages of horizontal vertical assembly in an area removed from launch zone hazards, the possibility of transferring the assembled vehicle to the firing site by rail or other means, and increasing the potential number of launches from a given pad. Based upon his long experience, Dr. DeBus reasoned that it was uneconomical and even inefficient to continue assembling the rockets on the launch pads because this imposed a low utilization rate and exposed the flight stages to salt air and corrosion. He knew the rockets of this size being considered for manned lunar flights would represent large investments that warranted utmost care and efficient utilization. 9 days later, Dr. DeBus appeared before the Marshall Center's Management Board chaired by Dr. Wiener von Braun and outlined his proposals. On April the 12th, the Soviet Union launched the first man into orbit in a 5.5 metric ton, 6-ton spacecraft. This event touched off a flurry of activity throughout NASA in response to questions from the White House. Principally, what technical goals should be established to capture and hold leadership for the United States in space. The suggestion which emerged required rockets bigger and more powerful than the nation had possessed. But like those which Dr. DeBus and his team envisioned, the President Kennedy decided that the man landing on the moon was the most feasible target and announced this objective May 25th as a national goal to be accomplished within the decade of 1960s. That's a good thing to do. Make a plan, put it down there. We're gonna go camping 1 week this summer. A whole week. We're nothing, anything goes. Splurge it all. Well, we got a plan for that. You say, put $5 back here and there, and you'll have it. Okay, maybe $50 now with the way prices are, but I hope everybody, just come back and see me and we'll do something else, but the people that's, if I don't know if you like me or not, but if you was to like me, it would help if you like space, because that's about the only thing I care about, man. And now I care about the hereafter and all the weird shit. Okay, well, anyway, maybe these guys would figure it out for us. Having received Dr. von Braun's endorsement, Dr. DeBus carried his proposals to Washington for presentation to Dr. Robert C. Siemens and the late Dr. Hugh Dryden and other senior NASA officials. They approved the plans for Launch Complex 37 to accommodate the Saturn vehicle under development by the Marshall Center team and authorized him to undertake feasibility studies for a major launch base and would become world famous as the site from which astronauts depart for the moon. Dr. DeBus returned to Florida, called in his staff, and set the machinery in motion to create the free world's first operational spaceport. The narrative relates the story of a dream that became reality November the 9th, 1967, when the first Apollo Saturn V lifted slowly off Pad A of Complex 39 and carried into orbit a space vehicle weighing 129,000 kilograms, that's 285,000 pounds, by far the heaviest mass which had ever been transported from Earth to space. Wow, isn't that wild, man? A startled world better understood the significance of this demonstrated capability on December the 21st, 1968, when the third Apollo Saturn V thundered into the heavens carrying astronaut Frank Borman and James Lovell and William Anders on man's first voyage to the moon, an achievement that stirred the hearts of men. As he contemplated the magnificent performance of the Apollo 8 crew, Dr. DeBus remarked, "Now we can explore the solar system and then the universe." The stage was set for the stunning climax of Project Apollo on July 16, 1969, 7 months after the Apollo's 8 triumph and following closely the success of Apollo 9 and 10. Astronauts Neil Armstrong, Edwin Aldrin, and Michael Collins began mankind's greatest adventure, while millions listened in awe. At 4:15 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, July the 20th, Neil Armstrong spoke these fateful words, "Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed." Earthman had found a new dimension. Apollo had achieved the goal towards which thousands of dedicated men and women labored for 8 years. Gordon L. Harrison. I just thought I'd read that. I thought I'd read a little bit. I thought I'd read a little bit of that to you. There's the there, right there is a that's a map. I don't know if you can see that right there, but it's a. I gotta get something better set up. But anyway, there's the man with a plan. And I think I was really excited about the Gemini, and it just I don't know what that's about. I'm in love with it for some reason, but I think it's our Saturn is our number one deal there. It's favoring that way. I just wanted to take something out of here. I wanted to show you. I just looking through this right here. This is a manned space flight 1963. Okay. And then it's got the content, instructions, and program and manned space flights. And let's just look through this, okay? I got a few more minutes here, about a couple more minutes, and this one will be full here. This is a manned space flight instructions. The United States has achieved much in space in the last 5 years since Explorer 1 was launched in January 1958. My colleagues in NASA will report on our successes in scientific investigation, in development of practical applications, in advancement of technology, and the flight missions such as historic rendezvous with Venus attained by Mariner 2 last December 14th. It is my responsibility to report on the American accomplishments in manned space flight. Much has been done in this area, and we have grown stronger over the last year. However, it is a sobering fact that another nation has been able to demonstrate longer durations manned flights and manned flights utilizing spacecraft weighing more than 3 times that of the Mercury, and a simultaneous flight of 2 astronauts in space in separate spacecraft. As is well known, the Soviet Union started well ahead of us in the development of large rockets, so necessary for manned flight. The Soviets have been ahead of us and are still ahead of us in their ability to reliably launch large masses to the Earth orbit. Over the next few years, we must anticipate the Soviets will demonstrate even more impressive accomplishments than they have already shown in such categories as long-duration flight and precise timing in manned spaceflight launchings. Nevertheless, with the acceleration of our own progress and by the establishment of our program on a sound engineering basis, we believe, surpass the Soviets in time and clearly establish the United States as preeminence in manned space flight. What do we mean by preeminence? We mean that we intend to occupy first place among the nations of the world in science and technology and in man's conquest of space. We intend to conduct scientific investigations in the unknown areas that the power of the rocket enables us to explore, to provide us with knowledge of conditions in space, to let us solve some of the mysteries of the unexplored sea. We intend to advance our technology in propulsion, in control and navigation, in power generation, in life support systems, and in the transmission of large quantities of information over long distance. We intend to develop powerful launch vehicles, advanced spacecraft, and adequate facilities on Earth to provide the operational capability required for preeminence. We intend to obtain a great deal of flight experience. We intend to know how to maneuver in space and rendezvous with another spacecraft. We intend to develop techniques of landing of another astronomical body and of re-entering the Earth's atmosphere at increasingly greater speeds. In addition to all this, we intend to acquire the ability to fabricate, inspect, assemble, and check out flight hardware and ground equipment that will provide space vehicles that are safe, economical, and surpass in operational proficiency. And then you had the Mercury, the Gemini, and then the Apollo. The objectives of the program we shall describe are to progress so rapidly along the lines that by the end of the decade our enveloped of manned flight competence will extend out 250,000 miles from the Earth. The Manned Lunar Landing Program, Project Apollo, at present provides an organizational focus for the development of capabilities required for the attainment of national preeminence in space. Moreover, Project Apollo provides an opportunity to conduct our space program in such a manner that United States preeminence will be clearly evident to the world. And, well, okay, I just thought I would show you a little bit of that, and we'll get back to some more of it. I'll tell you some more of it, and I'll put it on for you guys, and the ones that like this. Write me today, Mitchell Aaron Sr., 301 Harbor Valley Road, Toccoa, Georgia, 30577. And I hope you enjoy this as good as I like it, and keep coming back, and I'll look over it. As always. My nothing that I have is it's all been declassified. Nothing I have is it's not nothing I can't tell about. Okay, I'm not doing anything anything that would jeopardize our country. I would not do that. But this is just old news. Everybody's got it, and it's good for me. If you like it, come on back and I'll do some more of it. I don't know. Write me today. Let me know what's on your mind. I'll tell you what's on mine. Okay.